Hello, science fans! Today, we're diving deep into the microscopic world to explore something truly amazing: cells. Think of cells as the tiny Lego bricks that build all living things. From the tallest redwood tree to the blue whale swimming in the ocean, everything is made of cells. But here's the cool part. Not all cells are the same. Plant cells and animal cells, while both being the basic units of life, have some really big differences. Understanding these differences is super important because it helps us understand why plants and animals live the way they do. It's a fundamental part of biology, and it's happening all around us and inside us right now. So why should we care about what makes a plant cell different from an animal cell? Well, consider this. Plants stand tall and firm, soaking up sunlight to make their own food, while animals have to move around to find their meals. These very different lifestyles are possible because their cells are built for different jobs. It's like comparing a factory that makes its own power to a car that needs to refuel at a gas station. By looking at their cellular structures, we can unlock the secrets behind the vast and wonderful diversity of life on our planet. It's a microscopic showdown with massive implications for how our world works. Imagine you have a powerful microscope. When you zoom in on a leaf, you'll see a world of organized, boxy shapes all lined up. Now, if you were to look at a sample from your own cheek, you'd see something quite different. Cells that are rounder and more flexible, without that rigid structure. These visual clues are the first hint that we're dealing with two distinct blueprints for life. These blueprints dictate everything from how an organism gets its energy to how it grows and interacts with its environment. Getting to know these tiny structures is the first step in becoming a true cell explorer. Our journey today will be a head-to-head comparison of these incredible cellular worlds. We'll put plant and animal cells under our virtual microscope and examine what makes each one unique. We'll look at the special parts, or organelles, that give each cell its specific powers. From the strong walls of a plant cell to the flexible membrane of an animal cell, every component has a purpose. So, get ready to be amazed by the elegance and complexity of life at its smallest scale. Science is cool, and cells are at the heart of it all. Let's start our tour with the plant cell, the powerhouse of the plant kingdom. The first thing you'd notice is a thick, sturdy layer on the very outside called the cell wall. This wall is made of a tough material called cellulose, which gives the plant cell its fixed, often rectangular shape. Think of it as the plant's skeleton, providing support and protection. This is why plants can grow tall and strong, reaching for the sunlight without flopping over. The cell wall is a crucial feature that allows a plant to stand firm against gravity and the wind, a true feat of natural engineering. Next up is something that makes plants truly special: chloroplasts. These are the tiny green engines inside the plant cell where photosynthesis happens. Photosynthesis is the amazing process where plants use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to create their own food in the form of sugar. It's like having your own personal solar-powered snack factory inside every cell. This is why plants are green. Chloroplasts are filled with a green pigment called chlorophyll that captures the sun's energy. Without chloroplasts, we wouldn't have plants, and our planet's food chain would collapse. Consider that. Now, look for a giant water-filled sac inside the plant cell. That's the large central vacuole. This organelle can take up a huge amount of space, sometimes up to 90% of the cell's volume. It's like a massive water balloon that pushes against the cell wall, keeping the cell firm and turgid. This pressure, called turgor pressure, is what makes fresh vegetables crisp. When a plant doesn't get enough water, the vacuole shrinks and the plant wilts. The vacuole also stores nutrients and waste products, acting as the cell's all-in-one storage tank and recycling center. Finally, let's talk about how plant cells connect and divide. When a plant cell divides to make a new cell, it builds a new wall right down the middle called a cell plate. This plate grows outwards until it fuses with the existing cell wall, creating two separate daughter cells. To communicate with their neighbors, plant cells have tiny channels called plasmodesmata that pass through the cell walls. These channels allow water and small molecules to move from cell to cell, creating a network that connects the entire plant. It's like having secret passageways to share information and resources. Now, let's shift our focus to the animal cell, the building block for you, me, and every creature that moves. The most striking difference is what's missing: a cell wall. Animal cells only have a flexible outer layer called the cell membrane. This lack of a rigid wall gives animal cells their flexibility and allows them to take on a variety of shapes, from round blood cells to long, stringy nerve cells. This flexibility is key for movement. Imagine trying to run or jump if your cells were all stiff boxes. Our ability to move, bend, and stretch is all thanks to our cells' pliable nature. Since animal cells don't have chloroplasts, they can't make their own food. We are heterotrophs, meaning we have to get our energy by eating other things like plants or other animals. Our cells then break down that food to release energy through a process called cellular respiration, which happens mainly in an organelle called the mitochondrion. While plant cells also have mitochondria, animal cells rely on them completely for their energy needs. So, every time you eat a snack, you're providing the fuel your mitochondria need to power up your cells. What about storage? Animal cells do have vacuoles, but they are much smaller and more numerous than the single large one found in plant cells. These small vacuoles, sometimes called vesicles, are temporary storage bubbles that can hold food, water, or waste products. They are like little storage closets that can be moved around or disposed of as needed, rather than the giant, permanent warehouse we see in plant cells. This reflects the more dynamic and mobile lifestyle of an animal, where resources are consumed and waste is expelled more actively. When it's time for an animal cell to divide, it does something different from a plant cell. Instead of building a wall down the middle, the cell membrane pinches inward, creating what's called a cleavage furrow. This furrow gets deeper and deeper until it splits the cell into two separate daughter cells. Animal cells also have a unique pair of organelles called centrioles, which play a crucial role in organizing the chromosomes during cell division. These structures are not found in plant cells and are another key feature that sets the animal cell blueprint apart. Let's do a direct side-by-side comparison to really see the differences. Think about structure and shape. A plant cell with its rigid cell wall is like a brick, strong, sturdy, and fixed in shape. An animal cell with only its flexible cell membrane is more like a water balloon. It can change its shape and is much more pliable. This fundamental difference in their outer layers is the main reason for their different appearances and physical properties. The brick-like nature of plant cells allows them to build tall, solid structures, while the balloon-like animal cells allow for the creation of soft, flexible tissues. Now, let's compare how they get their energy. Plant cells are self-sufficient food factories. Thanks to their chloroplasts, they can perform photosynthesis, turning sunlight into chemical energy. They are producers. Animal cells, on the other hand, are consumers. Lacking chloroplasts, they must ingest food to get energy. This is a massive fork in the road of life. One path leads to a stationary existence, soaking up the sun, while the other leads to a life of motion, hunting, and foraging for fuel. It's the ultimate cellular lifestyle choice, defining the two largest kingdoms of life. Consider how they store water and other materials. Plant cells have that enormous central vacuole, a defining feature that acts as a water reservoir and structural support system. When full, it makes the plant rigid. When empty, the plant wilts. Animal cells use a different strategy, employing multiple small vacuoles for temporary storage. They don't need the same kind of internal water pressure for support because many animals have skeletons or other structures to hold them up. The storage system in each cell is perfectly adapted to its organism's needs: long-term stability for plants, short-term flexibility for animals. Finally, think about how they multiply and communicate. When a plant cell divides, it constructs a cell plate to form a new wall between the two new cells. Animal cells simply pinch in half with a cleavage furrow. For communication, plant cells use plasmodesmata, which are tunnels through their rigid walls. Animal cells, being more flexible, have more complex cell junctions that can hold cells together tightly, like in your skin, or allow for communication between them, like in your heart muscle. These different methods of division and connection are perfectly suited for building rigid plant bodies versus flexible animal tissues. So, we've seen that plant and animal cells, while sharing some basic machinery, are fundamentally different in their design. These differences aren't just random. They are the very reason that plants and animals live such different lives. The cell wall, chloroplasts, and large central vacuole of a plant cell are all adaptations for a stationary, photosynthetic lifestyle. They provide the structure to grow towards the light, the ability to produce food from that light, and the internal pressure to keep the plant from wilting. It's a perfect design for an organism that is rooted in one spot. In contrast, the features of an animal cell are all about flexibility and mobility. The absence of a cell wall allows cells to form diverse and flexible tissues needed for movement, from muscle to skin. The need to consume food means that animals have evolved complex systems for digestion and energy distribution, all powered by the mitochondria in their cells. The way animal cells divide and connect allows for the growth and repair of complex moving bodies. Every feature, from the lack of a cell wall to the presence of centrioles, supports a life on the go. These cellular differences have shaped the entire planet. The photosynthetic power of plant cells produces the oxygen we breathe and forms the base of nearly every food chain on Earth. They literally create the conditions for animal life to exist. The mobility of animals, made possible by their unique cell structure, has led to an incredible diversity of behaviors, from the migration of birds to the complex social structures of mammals. The microscopic architecture of cells scales up to create the magnificent tapestry of life we see all around us. Ultimately, the plant versus animal cell showdown doesn't have a winner. It has two champions, each perfectly adapted for its role. They are two brilliant solutions to the challenge of being alive. By understanding their unique blueprints, we gain a deeper appreciation for the ingenuity of nature and the intricate connections that link all living things. So the next time you see a towering tree or watch a dog chase a ball, remember the incredible specialized cells that make it all possible. It's a beautiful, complex world, all built from these tiny, amazing blocks. Now that's science.